Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while since I made a video. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. I can only remember one of them right now. um, Excuse me. Yeah, I took my kids, me, my wife, and our boys. We went to go see the Michael Jackson movie, man. It was a good movie. It was a good movie, man. If you haven't seen it, it was a really good movie. Um, it's an incomplete movie though. It There's a lot of things it doesn't talk about. There's a lot of things it doesn't touch base on. Janet Jackson's not included in any part of the movie. She's not mentioned, or so there's a lot going on there, right? But overall, if you're looking to be entertained and have get some information about Michael and his journey to stardom, and becoming probably the biggest pop star ever, it's a good movie, and I want to talk about that, because it's if you're a woman and you watch that movie, you're gonna be like, oh wow, Michael Jackson's mom is so lovely, so this, and his dad was a monster. He was a bad guy. He was this, he was that. And if you're a man, you're going to be torn. You're going to be very conflicted, because same thing. We all have mothers, and mothers do, their job is to nurture us and to love us and to take care of us and to want to protect us. And you're also going to look at the father and be like, man, he pushed him hard. He was mean. He was this. And so that right there, that dilemma, that scenario is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Michael Jackson's father. And what I want to do is I want to give him the credit he deserves. Because I hate the way that society, the family, everybody made this guy to be a monster. And could he have been a little, not maybe a little, not a little, but could he have been extreme? Yeah. What did he do? He came home and he demanded the kids practice their instruments, practice performing, practice singing, practice their dancing, their everything, right? And when they didn't get it right, he pushed them harder. He would get after them. He demanded perfection. You see, I think his name was Joe. I'm not gonna look it up because I don't really care what his name was, but I think it was Joe. This man had a vision. He had a vision. He looked at his kids and said, I am gonna turn these kids into a band, a successful band, the first successful all-black band, and they're gonna make money, and they're gonna become something, because they're not gonna live the life that I live, because he didn't have a good job. He didn't have a job that made much money. He was just your average typical man, and he didn't want that for his kids. And so he understood that something had to change, something had to be different. He understood that running the motion of sending them to school, hoping they get good grades, and do the typical path that we're all expected to do, he understood that that wasn't going to be their way out. That was just going to be a continuance. Most likely they were going to end up working at the same factories that he worked at, or delivering packages, or whatever job there is. He understood that. He understood that for their circumstance to change, there had to be a radical change. He understood that he was too old for that radical change. He understood that it just wasn't his time. There was nothing that he can do himself to alter the course of their history. It was too late. He was at the end of his rope. But he saw potential in his kids. And most importantly, he saw potential in Michael. He saw a charismatic boy who could sing, who could dance, who could perform. And he pushed those kids to their limit. He had a vision. He trained, he practiced. You understand? A lot of parents, after they work, they can barely muster up enough energy to cook their kids a home cooked meal. I forgot the mom's name. Who cares? She was an at-home mom. She had the luxury of being an at-home mom while this man went off to work and worked X amount of hours to provide the life that she needed to be an at-home mom, to give her the luxury of being an at-home mom. And then after working 10, 11, 12, 13, however many hours it was that he worked, he would come home and he would direct all his energy on his kids. All his energy, all his focus. Whatever he had left in the gas tank, he put it all on those kids. He gave it all to them. Not 1%, not 5%, 100%. He had a vision. Once his vision started coming to fruition, what did he do? He started booking gigs. He started booking parties. Eventually they ended up on that concert hall, and they were noticed by Motown Records, right? And what did this man say the entire time? He never said Michael's gonna be great. He never said Michael's gonna carry the family. His entire focus was on them as a group. Achieving, accomplishing it, making it all the way through as a group, as a family. If you paid any attention to the movie outside of just the singing and the dancing and the performance of Michael, the one common thing that this man always talked about was, what about his brothers? What about his brothers? What about his sisters? What about the family? His only concern was the family as a whole. Even when Michael started becoming a single artist and becoming the king of pop, this man's focus was like, okay, great, but what about your family? His focus was on elevating the family as a whole. He was comfortable with Michael and going and doing his thing as a solo artist, but he expected Michael to come back and participate in the family as the Jackson 5, so that way they can also elevate themselves. You understand? As Michael elevates, the Jackson 5 can elevate, and it's a stair step. And this is the problem that I have with the mom, the bodyguard, and even with Michael himself, is it didn't have to be one or the other. It could have been both. And this is the problem I have with society, man. And if you're a father, this is the problem that you're gonna run into. You as a father, you're not gonna get appreciation for nothing. You're just not. You're gonna be the bad guy almost all the time, even when everything you're doing is designed to set up your kids and your family for success. You're always gonna be the bad guy. What did the mom do? How did the mom elevate the family? What did she do? She didn't have a vision. She didn't practice with these kids. She didn't train these kids. She didn't put any effort outside of just cooking a meal and keeping the house clean. What did she do? Let's be honest, man. And you can see it in my face because it really makes me angry. What did she do to elevate the family outside of cook a meal, wash some clothes, keep the house clean? What did she do to turn the Jackson family into the Jackson 5 and then the Jackson 5 into Michael Jackson? What did she do? Let's replace the mother with any other mother. Just hot swap her. Hot swap her with any other mother. The Jackson 5 would have still came into fruition. Michael Jackson would have still come into fruition. It would have still been created. Now hot swap the dad. Hot swap him. You replace that dad. That dad dies. He gets sick, terminally ill, something. He just decides to leave. Guess what? The Jackson 5 never exist. Michael Jackson never exist. The world will never know the name of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson will probably be working in a factory somewhere with his soft voice, and his mom will probably still be trying to nurture him as a child. And all of society will look at him as a loser. Just think about that. The movie went out of the way to make the bodyguard of Michael Jackson, his security detail, that albino guy. It went out of the way to make this guy the greatest guy ever. But what the fuck did he do? What the fuck did he do? What was his job? What was his role? His job was to drive Michael around. He was paid to do that. The moment the paycheck stopped, he would have stopped. He wasn't this great guy out there doing the job for the love of Mike. No, he was doing it because he was getting paid. But the movie went on to make it seem like he was this great, amazing guy who was always there for Michael. Yeah, he was always there because he was getting paid. And the moment those paychecks stopped, the motherfucker would have stopped showing up. But the movie, the producers, the family, everybody, they all try to make this guy out to be this amazing guy. But how did he participate in the vision? What did he do to help create the vision, to develop the vision, to make it come to be? What did he do? He did dick. He did dick and balls. He did shit. What the fuck did the mom do? Dick and balls. But who gets all the credit? Who gets all the love? And who gets all the hate? The person that gets all the hate is the father, but he's the only one that had the vision. He's the only one that put in all the hard work and all his energy into his kids to make them what they became. It wasn't the mom. It was nobody else but this man He was the only person that believed in himself to turn those kids into superstars. Even the mother didn't believe. Oh, Michael, you're pushing them too hard. Oh, Michael, you know what moms do. If that lady had it her way, and she was able to, and just over time, wear Joe Jackson down and be like, just leave them, they're kids. They're kids. They're just kids. Just leave them. Let them play outside. Let them do this. If she would have won and persuaded this man to deviate for 1%, the Jackson 5 never exist. Michael Jackson never exist. If that lady was successful at all, we would never know Michael Jackson or the Jackson 5. It just would not. And so do you understand how strong and hard-minded this man had to be? He wasn't just fighting the world. He was fighting his wife, the mother of his children. And then he was fighting his kids. He was fighting everybody. Because none of them believed. He was the only one that believed. People only started believing after it happened. And it's easy to be a bandwagon whore once the train is rolling. But it's not easy to clear the land. Make sure it's nice and leveled. Start laying the bedrock, the wood, the rail. Start building the train. You understand? It's easy to jump on the train after everything has been done to make the train run. That man did all the work, and he gets all the blame for everything bad in those people's lives. The mom did none of the work. She did nothing. She was useless. You can replace her with a nanny. You can replace her with a fucking dog. You could have replaced her with anybody. An emotional support dog, because that's all she was. Did she cook? Yeah. So as long as every other woman alive. Did she clean? Yeah. Every other woman alive. What did she do that was so amazing? She did nothing. She was your typical useless at-home mom with no vision. And forgive me, I apologize for my last statement. At-home moms are not useless. At-home moms are one of the most important jobs. But if you've ever been an at-home parent, you know that it is the easiest job in the world. It's the most important job, but it is the easiest job in the world. There is nothing easier than being an at-home parent. It is so easy. So I don't want to pretend like it's this difficult thing. It's not. It is super easy. What's hard about it? Some laundry, some dishes, make a couple meals, vacuum the carpet. What is hard about it? There's nothing hard about it. It is easy. I did it for 2 years after I got laid off. It was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Clean the bathrooms. So easy. So easy. All of it was so easy. Literally like 2 hours of work every day. so easy. And the difference is you're doing 2 hours of work for yourself because it's your house. You're feeding yourself as well as feeding your family. You're cleaning your clothes as well as cleaning your family. You're cleaning your bathroom as well as cleaning the family bathroom. You understand? So when you're an at-home mom, surprisingly, everything you're doing is selfishly, not just for the family, but also for yourself. But she gets all the credit. The bodyguard gets a lot of credit for just being there. Did nothing to make it happen. The dad gets all the blame. None of the credit. But that man, if he didn't exist, and if he deviated from his plan by 1%, and just let them be kids, Joe, just let them be kids. Oh, let them have the day off, Joe. Joe, you're being a little too hard, Joe. It doesn't happen. They cease to exist. And all the amazing music that the world and performance that the world was blessed with, it would have just, we would have never known. You can't miss something you didn't know would have existed. As a man, bro, and if you're a man and you have kids, if you have a good wife, that's amazing. But the truth is, bro, as a dad, it's not your job to be liked. It's not your job to be your kid's friend. Ideally, you would like that to happen. But as a man, it is your job to push your kids beyond the limits they even know exist. It is your job to raise your kids to be tougher, smarter, better than you, kinder, more driven, so that way they are better than you in all aspects of life. That way they can live a better life than you, and they can provide a better life than you could have ever given your own family. But you gave them everything you never were. You gave it all to them, and now they get to give everything that they're now able to earn in life to their family. And then they do the same thing with their kids. They raise them to be better, stronger, faster, smarter, and eventually you hit greatness. But you're not going to get appreciation for it. You're going to get a lot of angry faces. You're going to get a lot of, oh, James, just leave them, let them, it's okay. It's all right. They don't, not every day. Let them be kids. Let them do this. Only women get that luxury. And we could look around all of society right now. We can look anywhere in the world, and we've seen how boys and girls turn out when there's not a father in the home. When it's just the mom with her. It's okay, mija, it's okay. You don't understand. She's just in her feelings right now. Oh, he needs to just express himself. We are seeing it today. We are seeing it in real life, where society ends up when women are allowed to raise kids without the strong presence of a man. It's a fucking disaster. It is a disaster. Why? because everything is emotion. And the problem with emotion is emotions change from minute to minute. And so if your compass of right and wrong is based off of how you feel, well, your right and wrong compass does not exist. It can never exist. It's gonna always be changing because your emotions are always changing. I might wake up happy and then something happens on my drive to work and now I'm angry. You understand? And a man's compass, for the most part, our compass is based off of right and wrong, logic. And that's why it's easier to have that moral compass, because it doesn't change. It's pretty much set in stone. Single mothers has been the greatest disaster to America. There's nothing that's destroyed our country more than single mothers. The black community, and I hate the word community, it's the black race in America. I hate the word community. The word community doesn't exist. It's a fake word. It's a word used to group people together for identity politics purposes. It's a fake word. Now, it only matters when you're like, oh yeah, I live in Chula Vista. Then they can kind of group you as a community based off of geolocation. But outside of that, this is my Hispanic community. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing as Hispanic community. Hispanics don't even like other Hispanics. Just because we can all go to an asada and hang out and chill with each other doesn't mean we like each other. Anyways. Man, I forgot what the hell I was saying before I went off on that rant. Oh yeah. Look, man. If you're a man, you're about to have kids and you're gonna get married, just understand, bro, you're not gonna get any appreciation. You're gonna get very few thank yous. You're just not gonna get it, bro. You're gonna put in all the work to elevate your family, to push your kids to be greater than. And you're gonna get all the blame. And when they succeed in life, a lot of that credit's gonna go to their mom, because that's the first person they're gonna say thank you to. When they're on that graduation stage, I just want to say thank you to my mom. Oh, and my dad. And this isn't me saying this is not designed to discourage you as men. But you got to take your own appreciation. You got to give it to yourself. When I look at my kids and they're out there competing and they're fighting and they're busting their butt and they're getting better, little by little by little by little, that's when I'm like, yeah, that was my hard work. That was me pushing them. And then they start becoming really good. You have to give yourself that self praise, that self, you have to give it to yourself, because nobody's going to give it to you. It's not, society's not going to give it to you. The mom, the kids, nobody's going to give it to you. So you got to give it to yourself. And you know the crazy thing is, as I tell you this stuff, is it's all right. Because even though you get no appreciation, it is still all worth it. It is all worth it. It is worth every ounce of it. I would rather my kids dislike me, but have the most amazing life because of everything I taught them, than have my kids like me and be fucking losers. I would rather my kids hate me, but they become great and their name becomes a Michael Jackson name, a name that reverberates throughout history, rather than my kids like me and nobody cares when they die. Nobody would even know. Society won't even have a hiccup. That's your choice as a father, man. That's really the choice that you're gonna have. Is you're gonna have to have that choice. Do I want my kids to like me? Do I want to be the good and fun guy and have fucking losers for kids? Kids that are gonna live with me till they're 30, 40, 50 years old? Kids working as a barista at Starbucks? Is that what you want for your kids? Well, then be their friend. Be the fun guy. Be that guy. And then those kids will end up on food stamps and welfare, fucking losers for the rest of their life. Or you can just be the dad that's gonna push your kids as hard as they can possibly take it, and then they end up they end up, because of all your energy, turn out to be something significantly better than you, and their life ends up being significantly better than yours. It's a choice you have to make, man. And hopefully along that path you can have long periods of where you're just able to enjoy your kids and your kids' presence, because man, they're so amazing, bro. Kids are amazing and they're fun. But just as proud as you are of enjoying those moments that you have with them, you need to take pride in the times that they don't like you, if those times are because you're pushing them to be better. If they just don't hate you because you're not there, you're not present, you're absent, what? You deserve it. But if there's just times that they don't like you and everybody looks at you as this mean giant because you are pushing them to be great and to learn how to work hard, then wear it as a badge of honor. Wear it proudly. And don't shy away from it. Don't apologize for it. Don't look at your wife when she's giving you that ugly look and being like, what? You look at her in the eye and be like, what are you looking at? If you have something to say, just say it. Well, I just think you're going too hard. Well, what are you going to do to make our kids better? What's your idea? Well, I'm just saying. No, you're not saying anything. So shut the fuck up. It's the curse of being a man. It's the curse of being a father. You will be the bad guy. And everything you do to transform your kids, you will get none of that appreciation. No matter how great they become. All that's going to go to their mom. And the odds are she put little to no effort to make that come into light. All she did was just be a mom. You had to be everything. You had to be their personal trainer, their counselor, their career coach, everything. You had to be everything, bro. Their dad. Everything. But it's still worth it. Kids are amazing, bro. It's worth it. I would absolutely do it all over again. But don't expect any appreciation. I think I've touched base on that enough. You know, with everything going on with the whole Iran thing, uh, I have I have I I have a thought. I do, and it's gonna sound a little crazy. It's gonna sound a little crazy, guys. I think this war with Iran is actually, man, it's gonna sound crazy. I think this war with Iran has more to do with religious purposes than anything else. I think I think this is a soft, you know how back in the day, when the Islamists were running around kind of terrorizing the entire world, and finally the Catholic Church decided to respond with the Crusades, and then the Crusades went and put them all in check. I think that's what's happening. I think Iran is the head of the snake right now, with the whole Islamization, or God, I can't say it, bro, of the world, and pushing it. And obviously there's other countries involved, but I think they are a significant spearhead, if not the head of the snake at this point. And I think we're essentially starting to watch the beginning of the second Crusades, in my opinion. It's hard for me to explain how I came to that theory. It's hard because it wasn't one single point of information. I've been watching a lot of videos about the Book of Enoch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and a lot of other stuff that's just been fascinating me lately. And I don't know, bro. I'm looking at the events happening across the world, even at some events that are happening here in America. And it just makes sense. It makes sense. And I think the reason that Trump went so hard is because he understood that these people, if given the opportunity, that these crazy fucks would have actually detonated a nuclear bomb. If you think about it, bro, you look at all the movies, a lot of movies going back. There was one just recently that ended horribly. But there's a nuclear bomb that just happens to detonate. And nobody knows where it came from. They can't trace it back to Russia or anywhere, right? And they all kind of theorize, like, maybe it was Iran, but they can't prove it. So many movies have been made like that. It's like the end of times with the nuclear bomb going off, and then there's nuclear Armageddon because everybody's shooting nukes at everybody. But it always starts off with just one, right? And I think those people, if they were able to achieve full nuclear bomb, a full nuclear bomb, I think they would have done it. I really do. And I think Trump understood that as well, that these motherfuckers are crazy enough to do it. And on top of that, this whole Muslim stuff is getting out of hand, bro. You don't have to like it or agree with it, but it is. There's a lot of normal Muslims. Most of them are really good people, man. But when you have 1.52 billion Muslims throughout the world, I think it might be more than that. I'm not sure. I don't even want to look it up, but it's something like that. When even 1 or 2% is crazy, the Sharia law crazy, the it's okay to marry 9-year-old girls crazy, the if you say anything slightly wrong about the prophet, we're gonna kill you and burn down your house, and like, even if you're just 1-2%, which I think the number is actually bigger. I think it's closer to like 5-10% of the Muslim population are actually kind of like cuckoo, like crazy cuckoo. You're talking about hundreds of millions, bro. I think what we're seeing the beginning of a second crusade. And so I don't know if because of that this war is ever going to end. It might transition. It might be declared, okay, we're good for now. I just don't think it's ever going to end. Not until the genie's put back in the bottle. And the truth is, I don't know if it should end, if I'm right. Because that's a big genie. And that's a big bottle. And that's going to be a very difficult one to try to contain. Because the numbers are just so significant. And governments across the world are terrified of that religion. They're terrified, and they think if they just play nice, and they just give them some money and the jizya, I think it's called jizya, that everything will be fine. This is just me speculating. I could be absolutely wrong, guys, but I would like for somebody to just think it through and be like, you know what? There's some validity in what he's saying, you know? I do think, again, that what's happening with Iran in the Middle East is actually the beginning of a second crusade. And I think it needs to happen. I think with the whole Israel and the Greater Israel Project, you know what? If we are going through a second crusade, yeah, you know what? I'm okay with the Greater Israel Project. Because think about it. A lot of what Israel was surrounded by, at one point in time, a lot of it was Christian, Catholic, right? It wasn't until later years that the Muslims took over and became predominant, and now it's just hardcore Muslim countries. So everybody's looking at the Greater Israel Project as oh, but the Jews are expanding their empire. Well, you know what? I'd rather kind of have Jews control more area than Muslims, because the Jews aren't going around killing people. They're not going around being crazy, right? Now, do you have your weird Jews with the crazy hair and the hats and the little stupid ass squares on their fucking head? Yeah. But they make up such a small percentage. And I would even gather to say that those aren't really Jews. Those are like the Sharia law Muslims. They're a crazy small percentage fraction. I've talked about it in a past video where I literally told you what I think. I believe that the Sharia law Muslims and those stupid little square hat things wearing people with the curlies and the big trench coats. I already told you, I believe that they are two peas in a pod. They're the same people. I don't see any difference between them. And I'm not talking about the regular, just normal Muslims living a good life, or the regular normal Jew that's living a good life. I'm talking about those two groups of people. They're a very small minority of the religions on both ends. But I don't include them in the Jews. You can call them a Zionist, you can call them whatever the hell you want. I don't care what you call them, but what they're not is they're not really Jews. And the other people are not really Muslims. They're fanatics. And they're fanatics that are playing both ends of the spectrum. And in the crossfire, the good normal Jews are getting caught up. The good normal Muslims are getting caught up. And because they're playing this divide and conquer, you have both sides being like, well, shit, are they my enemy? I don't hate them, but at the same time, if they keep trying to kill us, well, no, it's not all of them. It's just the 5% of them that's trying to kill you. But because you have the term Muslim or Islam attached to them, it makes it seem like it's all the entirety, and it's not. Anyways, guys, I think that's all I have today, man. You know, go watch the movie, and you know, hopefully I gave you a different perspective. Joe Jackson was a great man. That was a great man. And everybody alive should be thanking Joe Jackson for being that man. For being a hard ass. For being stubborn. For not listening to his wife who did nothing. For not listening to anybody and just kept pushing through. Because of that man, that one person. Yeah, because of him, we got to witness the greatness of the Jackson 5. And then we got to witness the greatness of Michael Jackson himself. Possibly one of the greatest, if not the greatest artist to ever live. And it was all because of that one man. Nobody else believed. And nobody else did anything to make it happen besides that man. Thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.